Cause we're stomping on them bitter ones.
Good evening, everyone. Welcome back once again to Vicious Rants. And of course, I am your host, your YouTube Messiah, and often imitated, never duplicated superstar Tim Vicious. And we are going to talk about Raw this week. Was in Toronto, Ontario. Yep. So, overall score first and foremost. Overall score for it, I'd say like a 6.5-ish, you know. I mean, I enjoyed the show, you know. I mean, it wasn't like, oh my god, kind of shit, but it was good. I mean, you know, some nice little help build-ups event to SummerSlam in 2 weeks' time. Now, before we get into detail on that, first and foremost, let's go back in time to last week for the SmackDown Rewind. Highlights from last week's SmackDown. The match between John Cena and Shinsuke Nakamura. Now, that was for the #1 contendership for Jinder Mahal's WWE title. Shinsuke wound up winning. Possibly the best way possible. Now, not say best way, sorry, bad choice of words, poor choice of words on my part on that. And now probably the sickest part of the match itself was right at the end when Shin wound up hitting that exploder right onto Cena, and Cena landed right on that surgically repaired neck of his, and then he hit the Kinshasa 1, 2, 3 after that, and you see it, there was a gif of it. You see it, you read his lips, he was apologizing to John after the bell rang, saying, I'm sorry I dropped you on your neck. And Cena was just like, it's okay, you know. And as much as I shit on John Cena, and I have openly, I have never once questioned the man's work ethic or his ability to carry himself in the ring. You know, his work ethic, the man is a workhorse, that is true. He will bounce from Tokyo to New York to Chicago to Paris to Rome to frickin' Australia to you know, Minnesota, all within a matter of days. And still, you know, he's got a solid work ethic. Can't necessarily say I approve of like certain things from what I've heard about him, but you know, that is what it is. But reason on why we got the match on SmackDown, according to certain reports, you know, and take rumors from the dirt sheets with a grain of salt, apparently Great Khali couldn't get medically cleared to work in the ring. So, because they were going to have a match between Khali, Mahal, and the Singh brothers go against Randy and some other guys, whoever Randy, you know, they were going to have them do that kind of a match, but since they couldn't, they decided to go and scrub that idea, put the Nakamura-Cena match on SmackDown, and then make it a world title match, in which case, as much as I've loved Jinder Mahal's world title run, Shinsuke's going to wind up winning, and hopefully we wind up getting Styles versus Nakamura at WrestleMania. Now, aside from that, really, yeah, I can't think of anything else big that happened on SmackDown last week. So, let's get back into current events. Raw this week started out with Miz TV. Miz, right on point, hot as hell. Shut up, Toronto, I'm not in the mood. And then, the man's Jason Jordan come out because Jordan wound up, you know, suplexing Miz right out of his, you know, on Miz TV prior. Last episode of it. Angle comes out, says Jason's not coming out because he's got a match against your boy Curtis Axel, but I got you another guest. And then frickin' surprise visit from Paul Heyman and Brock Lesnar. So they come on out, and before Paul can even speak, Miz, you know, we all know the 11th commandment is thou shalt not intentionally provoke the beast. The 12th commandment is thou shalt not interrupt Paul Heyman. yeah, Miz broke the 12th commandment. He did that, and he cut him short, mocked Paul's promo from last week, talking about on how if he doesn't win, he's going to leave, on how if Brock doesn't win, they're going to leave, this, that, and the other. And then Paul wound up saying, now, may I? Ladies and gentlemen, my name is Paul Heyman, and wound up talking about, now, I'm not sure if you and your wife are into this, but if you do role playing, because we're going to do that right now. You, the suave, savvy man, you are Roman Reigns. Bo Dallas, oh, that fierce tenacity in your eyes, that deep, mean aggression. You are Samoa Joe. And you, fierce, that beard and looking all ready to attack, you're Braun Strowman. Ladies and gentlemen, my client would like to show you exactly what will happen at SummerSlam. And then Brock proceeded to destroy the entire Miztourage, and yeah, that was, yeah. Saw that coming a mile away. They were going to die. They pretty much did. Yeah. After that, we got our matchup. After that, we got our first match of the night. Seth Rollins going against Sheamus. Follow up from, so now follow up from last week's Raw. Now, Seth right off bat just starts going at Sheamus. That was relatively short-lived, though. Sheamus wound up gaining control, just started playing to the power advantage. Much credit to that, because Sheamus, and again, I have shit on him on this show, too, just like I have a lot of guys. And, openly admit, I am an equal opportunity asshole. I may be an asshole, but I'm an equal opportunity one. I will shit on the guys I don't like and shit on the guys I do like. Sheamus powering over him, playing good to that card, using the power card, because he's a big guy. You gotta play to that advantage, especially when you're working with somebody agile like Seth. Seth, though, he started to mount a small bit of a comeback, and basically on how the match came to an end, Sheamus wound up getting the win, but pretty much the same way as last week. Seth went to go up to the top rope, wound up getting ready to go and do a splash, jump down, hit an axe handle on Cesaro. Next thing you know, Sheamus got the roll up, 1, 2, 3, that was it. And then he proceeded to beat Seth down again. This time, no Ambrose to the rescue. Now, next matchup, we got Jason Jordan, who was set to go against Curtis Axel, but since Brock pretty much made him suffer from anal bleeding via the ass whooping he gave him, we wound up getting instead a local Toronto wrestler. I can't remember his real name, but they gave him the identity of Jean-Pierre Golet, which, yeah, this was the piss break. Piss break, folks. This is a piss break. Yeah. Next matchup. Now, before we get into this match, there was a promo that led into this match. Bayley came out, talked about on how she hurt her shoulder. Whether it was legit or this is storied, I don't know. But either way, we wound up getting Bayley coming out, cutting a promo, talking about on how she's bummed out she can't compete at SummerSlam. So the crowd started booing and shitting all over Bayley, which I'm not gonna lie, I kind of have mixed feelings on, because I like Bayley and I like Bayley, like the idea of the Bayley character. But I would like to see the character evolve some, start to get a little mad, a little bitter, like, you know what, I keep getting this chance, and just when I'm right there, something happens and it keeps coming out from under my feet. Something like that. Develop something like that. I think that would probably help her. Of course, again, speaking from a fan perspective, But she wound up saying in her promo, that Angle wound up setting it up We're going to get 2 triple threat matches tonight, which then leads to next week's match for the #1 contendership. So first match we got was first women's triple threat match. We got Sasha Banks, Alicia Fox, and Emma. Which case, absolutely happy to see that because Emma, you know, not doing the whole give Emma a chance thing, but honestly, she really does deserve more. You know, she does deserve to have more, you know, on there. She, you know, more TV time or something like that, you know. Have her set up like she, you know, she keeps throwing out on Twitter like she's going to go and try and make a move on Jason Jordan now since he's Angle's kid. You know, do something like that do something like that. Show backstage things, vignettes of it. Her trying to make a move on Jordan and he's just blissfully unaware that she's doing it, like, you know, and just be like, oh, yeah, thanks. And just completely ignore it, you know? Something like that. But either way, on with the match. Emma, you know, yeah, this was a pretty decent match. Big spot that threw me off through no end was when Emma frickin' powerbombed Sasha right onto the ring apron. Her back just, boom, right there on the apron. Which case, you know, again with the back thing with Sasha, you know, just keep thinking, you know, for the love of God, yep, we keep getting these, you know, with her and Charlotte when they were doing that back and forth stuff, you know, it was just, yeah, you know, on how much she kept getting her back, on how much her back kept twitching out like that, and that's why the title kept bouncing around like it was a flip of the coin, like, okay, this week it's Sasha, this week it's Charlotte, now it's Sasha, now it's Charlotte, you know, something like that. But for the most part, the match was really more so like, it was like Emma versus Alicia, you know, because when Sasha was out, you know, most of the, you know, and like I said before, with triple threat matches, you'll see somebody as the third wheel. In this one, Sasha, she kind of was, because it was more so we were seeing Alicia and Emma for the most part. But as it came to an end, saw more so Sasha coming in, and it was like one-on-one with them, one-on-one with either girl. Match wound up coming to an end though. Sasha wound up having the bank statement locked in on Alicia Fox. You know, Emma went to stop it, tried to get in roll-up cradle. Next thing you know, Sasha reversed that into a bank statement and then tapped out. So yeah, so Sasha won that. That's not much of a shocker because... But either way, next matchup we got, it was Enzo and Big Show going up against the Good Brothers themselves, Gallows and Anderson. Which case, always glad to see the Good Brothers on the TV ski. You know? Now, Gallows and Anderson, the club, you know, they were in control for a good bit of this match. They had Enzo as like the punching bag. You know, can't even really say more so for like a good part. It was... You know, but yet they had him for, you know, Enzo, he was pretty much the team punching bag, and now all of a sudden apparently a lot of people are on the whole I hate Enzo bandwagon, and I'm not trying to sound like one of those fucking, you know, I just can't understand, like, I haven't been able to tolerate Enzo since day one, and now all of a sudden everyone else is doing the same shit I am, and like, what the fuck, oh, somebody shut him up. Like, seriously? The hell, you know, now because apparently, you know, all the rumors of him running his mouth, you know, getting kicked off a bus and shit like that. So now everyone's doing that, but whatever. Yeah, but match wound up coming to an end just as it looked like Enzo was about to go and make the hot tag the Big Show. Cass started walking down. Thankfully, somebody started getting the idea of, hey, if we stop playing the wrestler's entrance music as they come down, it's more of a dramatic effect. So, we wound up seeing that. He came down, started at distracted Big Show, which then Gallows, boom, knocked knocked Show off the apron, which then wound up giving Enzo a chance to go and try and do a roll-up on Gallows, which then Anderson wound up, boom, hitting Enzo with a running knee, and then got the pin 1, 2, 3. So the Good Brothers won. Good Brothers won. Pretty sure Karl Anderson wound up going into the back and pounded 40 Bud Light Limes after that. And then we proceed to seeing Cass beat the snot out of Show, then go and chase after Enzo as he is. Next thing you know, Show, boom, comes out, decks him, and then they walk off. Later on in the show, they wound up showing a backstage segment, Cass talking to Angle. He wanted a match with Big Show, and Enzo is going to wind up being in a shark cage above the ring. Yeah. It is what it is with that. So, hopefully that's the first match of the show of SummerSlam. But yeah. Next matchup we now have Cesaro going against Ambrose. This one had nice back and forth in it, you know, at the beginning of it, in which case you guys can thank Combat Zone for giving us Claudio Castillo versus Jon Moxley right here. You know, now Cesaro, he wound up doing a power game against Ambrose, which was phenomenal. And Cesaro, I have been preaching for this guy to the heavens for years now on this show. The guy definitely at some point in time needs to start getting put into the title picture at some way, shape, or form, you know, and just really dying to see that, you know, just for crying out loud, just imagine him doing a match with Braun Strowman. Those two guys would be powerhouses, you know. But yeah, enough with the fantasy bookings, back to the matter at hand. You know, Dean started to work up a small bit of a comeback, and he wound up getting the eventual win via a roll-up. It was the exact mirror thing of what happened with earlier match with Seth and Sheamus. You know, Dean got the 1, 2, 3. After that, though, after that, Sheamus and Cesaro started beating the shit out of Ambrose. Next thing you know, Seth comes down, saves the day. Dean just looks at him, and those two guys, man, they were looking at each other, and like there was just so much tension between them two. It looked like something out of a Hallmark Channel movie, which I would never know because I've never watched those things because I have standards and such. Don't judge! Anyways, they had enough tension like that, and then Ambrose just like put his fist out like, come on, brother, pound it in. And Seth just stood there and then walked off. Which case, that, you know, brilliant idea on that part, psychology-wise, because as much as the fans want to, as much as they're giving into the idea of the fans, okay, they're finally letting it go. Seth is finally atoning for his past sins and all that. He's not ready to, you know, as much as he wants to, he's still, now he's hesitant about doing it just yet. You know? And it's finally going to culminate at SummerSlam when they get the tag title match. Now, next matchup, we got Cruiserweight Ariya Daivari going against Tozawa. Daivari, he was in control for a good bit, but in the end, Tozawa wound up getting the win. The senton, you know, and yeah, but the big thing this was a throwaway match, you know, because this was more so just to show that, hey, Tozawa is the #1 contender for the Cruiserweight title, but, you know, the main thing on this is, you know, looking over Daivari, I can honestly, you know, I look at this cat and I'm just looking at him and I'm looking at his style and I'm thinking, this kid could wind up working like the Iron Sheik did, you know. He could wind up being like the Iron Sheik of the Cruiserweights, man, you know, just, he could work it, you know. And I mean, he works like it, you know, he could work like Sheiky Baby, you know. And I'm not saying stereotype him by having him do like the camel clutch like they have every Arab, you know, but just, you know, I mean, like, he could go in there and humble jabronis because he's good as a mat wrestler, you know. Really hoping at some point they start moving Daivari up some, you know. Now, either way, next up, now we got the second women's triple threat match. Mickie James, Dana Brooke, and Nia Jax. And Nia just pretty much destroyed both girls throughout the entire match, you know. And, you know, match wound up coming to an end at one point where Nia had Dana up on her shoulders, did a Samoan, or not even a Samoan drop, threw her back. Mickie went to go did the knee drop on her, came down, went to go do a cover, 1, 2, and then Nia just threw her out the ring, then did a running leg drop, 1, 2, 3. So we're going to have Sasha Banks versus Nia Jax next week. Honestly, they need to keep Sasha out of the title picture from like now. We'll say it's now mid-August. You know, we're mid-August leading into September. At least until after WrestleMania. You know, have her out of the title picture until then. And if you're going to have her in the idea of a title, have her just keep going for it, but lose. Because honestly, that's what's needed more than anything right now with Sasha. Because if she wins, where's the payoff on it? You know? Whereas with, like, Nia Jax, the payoff on that, aside from the fact that, you know, Alexa is going to wind up being the biggest heel possible, trying to, like, duck and dodge out of that match, Nia wins, she winds up being a huge dominant champion, and then whoever winds up eventually winning the title off her gets to go and say they slayed Goliath. You know? That's the big payoff there. Now, either way, now it's time for the main event of the night. It was Braun Strowman, Roman Reigns, last man standing. These two guys put it all on the table. Hands down fucking good. You know, and I'm not a fan of last man standing matches, you know, normally. Because honestly, you know, they can get, you know, the 10 count part is where it gets me. Because it's just like, really? This part is so freaking boring. You know, because all the action is good, but then you have to wait for the 10 count. But either way, Braun just wound up clearing out Roman right at the get-go, just powerhousing him. And you could tell this cat is being groomed for the inevitable world title run. You know? Roman, you know, started to mount a good bit of a comeback, which wound up leading to back and forth for a good bit. And then Roman, just as he was getting ready to go and do a running charge, going around the ring to the side, Braun literally picked up a chair and threw a chair like fucking Jerry Springer shit. Like, picked up the chair off the ground and threw it. The announcer's chair that they sit in. Like that big leathery looking one. Just, boom! Hit him with that like something out of fucking Jerry Springer. You know? Which case, then they started leading up into the ramp. Roman and Braun, they started going that way. Roman did a whole running charge down the ramp, up the ramp, then down the ramp. Roman went down the ramp and speared Braun just as the ref was administering the count. Next, you know, like the fucking Predator, Joe comes out of nowhere, puts in the Coquita clutch on Braun, or not Braun, I'm sorry, Roman. Starts putting it on him fierce, and then drops him. Then the ref starts the count again. And then Braun just climbs back up right out of nowhere, and then just like that look like, okay, I just got the shit kicked out of me. I'm pissed off and ready for round 2. You know? And then, so Braun wins the match via that way. So, Braun won. But yeah, that is it for this week's show, folks. So, do not forget to like the video, subscribe to the channel, go back, watch some of the other episodes. Look for me on the Twitter at TimVicious. Also have another backup account, Tim_Vicious. Make sure y'all check out the stuff for the Dad Show, Lifestyle Podcast, Storytelling Podcast. Whatever kind of podcast you really want to see it as, it's what it is. You know, new episodes are coming soon, not a matter of if, but when. Also, folks, check the links down below. I am in running for a Beard of the Month contest via Beardaholics. Please feel free to cast some votes for me. Also, do not forget to follow all of these cool-ass cats right here on the Twitter. Axel Mulligan, make sure you check out Axel's newest project, Brit Wrestling Review, where they talk about British and European wrestling. Sunday Segway. The good brothers that are co-hosts for the Dad Show. I am Danny Sunday, and my executive producer for this show, Oliver Ben, who provides the music for this show. Make sure y'all check him out. He's out on iTunes, Spotify, and such details are in the description. Also, don't be afraid to hit him up for one of these Ollie Rewind shirts. Show some love and support to the man. Cranky asshole Aaron _Deborah, as well as Dazzy MWP over at the Max Wrestling Podcast. And folks, like I always say, you love me, great, you hate me. Fuck you.